Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Jeet Ki Pathshala. Today we are going to cover a very important topic, and that is clause. So let's start it. So now, before we learn what is clause, let's say what is sentence. Sentence is a combination of words that makes a complete sense. It has a subject and a predicate. Sentence actually makes a complete sense. It gives a complete meaning, and it has a subject and a predicate. And now what is clause? Clause, a group of words that has a subject-verb combination. It is usually only a part of a sentence. So here we can say that a clause is just a group of words that has a subject and a verb, and it is only a part of a sentence. We can also say that clause is the smallest unit of a sentence. Example, you can say here Ria ate. So Ria ate, it has its meaning by itself, isn't it? Ria ate. Ria is the subject and ate is a verb, and it gives a meaning that Ria ate. But it doesn't give a complete meaning. That means it is not a complete sentence. So this is a clause. We can say that a sentence has clause, but a clause doesn't have a sentence. In a sentence, you can find 2 or 3 clauses, but in a clause, you will not find a sentence. Though it gives us a meaning by itself, but it is not a complete sentence. Now let us look the types of clause, and here clause are of 2 types, and they are independent clause, which is also known as main clause, and the second one is dependent clause. Now let's see what is independent clause and dependent clause. So let's see the meaning of independent clause and dependent clause. Independent clause, it expresses a complete thought. Like you can say simple sentences are all independent clause. That means here the sentence is independent. It doesn't take the help of any other sentence to express its meaning. So that is what an independent clause. For example, Ria ate a cheese roll. So here this sentence is a complete thought. Here we understood what actually it expresses. It said that Ria ate a cheese roll. So here we have not taken any other sentence to show its meaning. Here this sentence is a complete meaning. Now let's see what is dependent clause. Dependent clause, it depends on the another clause to express a complete thought. So as we have learned what is independent, the meaning of independent, that is independent. It doesn't take any help. Similarly, dependent, that means taking help of something. So dependent clause always depends on another clause or another sentence to express a complete thought. For example, you can see here, this is the boy who won the first prize. Now, if I say who won the first prize, I will not understand what it actually means. It's not it. Who won the first prize, but who is the one? But when I take another clause, this is the boy who won the first prize, then only it gives us a complete meaning. That means now we understand that what actually the sentence means. So in this way, here who won the first prize, this clause has taken the help of this is the boy to express its meaning, and that is what dependent clause. Now here dependent clause are divided into 3 categories. Here we can say noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. Now let's see what is noun clause. Noun clause, we all know what is noun, isn't it? Noun means that tells us the name of something. So noun clause, it is also the same as we know the meaning of noun. So the noun clause also similar to noun. It acts as a noun. Noun clause acts as a noun where you have a subject and a verb, and which tells the name of something. So noun clause, it tells us the name of something. It can be a person, it can be a thing, etc. So example you can see here. Number 1, I believe that I will pass the test. So what I believe, what is the thing that I believe? That I will pass the test, and that is a noun clause. Number 2, a person who trusts no one cannot be trusted. So that is what a noun clause, the example of noun clause. So we can see here words like that, who, which, what, how, when, where, why, if, whether are used before noun clause. So these are the words that is used before a noun clause. Now let's see the next clause, and that is adjective clause. Now what is adjective clause? Adjective, as we know, it describes or qualifies a noun. So similarly, it acts as an adjective clause. It describes or qualifies a noun. That means it tells us the speciality of that particular noun. Example, the girl who is leading the parade is my best friend. So here we are talking about the girl who is leading the parade, and what is the speciality of that girl? That she is my best friend, and that is the special thing about her. So that is what, this is an adjective clause. Number 2, the carpets which you bought last year have gone moldy. So now here we are talking about the carpets which you bought last year, and what is the speciality of that carpet? That these carpets have gone moldy, and this is adjective clause. Words like who, whom, that, which, or a relative adverb when, where or why are used with adjective clause. So now let's see an adverb clause. The adverb clause does the function of an adverb. It indicates when, where and how the work is done. So adverb clause, it actually does the function of an adverb, and it indicates when, where and how the work has been performed. Okay, now let's see the subdivision of adverb clause, and they are adverb of time clause, adverb of place clause, adverb of purpose clause, reason clause, manner, condition, result, comparison and contrast. And these are the subdivision of an adverb clause. So now let's see what is time clause. Time clause indicates time. It shows us the time of doing the work. Subordinates conjunctions such as when, whenever, while, after, before, since, as, till, until, as long as soon as, no sooner than, since, etc. are used. For example, you can see here, wait here until he comes. So here we are talking about the time. Do it before you forget. So this example expresses time, and this is what? This is a time clause, adverb of time clause. Now let's see the adverb of place clause. It indicates place or where something happens. It often starts with preposition in, on, near, or one of the following subordinate conjunction like anywhere, everywhere, or wherever, etc. are used. So this is what place. It indicates the place where something happens, where something has done. For example, when she saw me waiting, she ran towards me. This indicates place. Now let's see the next one, and that is adverb of purpose clause. It actually indicates any purpose. Subordinate conjunction like that, so that, in order that, lest, etc. are used. For example, he works hard in order that he may succeed. So this is the purpose clause. Now let's see the next clause, and that is reason. It indicates cause or reason. Subordinate conjunction like, that, as, since, because, etc. are used. For example, he is smiling because he is happy. So here it indicates the reason, and this is what reason clause. Now manner, adverb of manner clause. It indicates the manner of doing the work. Subordinate conjunctions such as like, or, as, or the way, etc. are used. Example, as you sow, so will you reap. This is what? This is a manner clause. Now condition, adverb of condition clause, and it states the condition for the main idea to come into effect. Subordinate conjunction like if, whether, unless, provided that, etc. are used. For example, unless you run, you cannot catch the train. So it expresses the condition clause. Now the result clause. It indicates the result or consequences, and here that is used before the clause. For example, he is so old that he can hardly walk, and this is the result clause. Now comparison clause, adverb of comparison clause, and that is, it indicates comparison. Subordinate conjunction like then, as, so as, the, etc. are used. So whenever you have the word like then, or you have same word two times, as or as, so as or the, then it is a comparison clause. Actually compares something. For example, he is older than he looks. Now let's say the contrast clause, and that is, it denotes contrast with the main idea. Subordinating conjunction like though, although, even, if, etc. are used. For example, though he is poor, he is honest. So this is the contrast clause. These are the three clauses which I have explained it to you, and this is very important for you. As in our next video, we are going to learn about simple, compound and complex sentence. Before learning simple, compound and complex sentence, we should at least know this clause. If you are clear with clause, then it will be easier to understand simple, compound and complex sentence. So now, here I have prepared some of the questions for you. Point out the clause here, noun clause, adjective and adverb clause. Now let's try to recognize is what kind of clause here I have given. So the first question is, we know that the earth is round. Now here you can say we know that the earth is round. What kind of clause it is? Just think it. You can even pause the video and write your answer as what you have understood from the clause, and then you can check your answer with which I will give you. We know that the earth is round. Here we are talking about something, that the earth is round. So in that place, this is a noun clause. So this answer is noun clause. Now let's see the second question. He is the boy who broke the window. So here we are talking about the boy and the speciality about this particular boy. And what is the speciality? That he broke the window. That is the speciality. And of course, whenever we are talking about any speciality of any noun, that means it is an, yes, that is adjective clause. Number 3, when the sun set, we returned home. So what actually we are expressing here? We are actually talking about the time here, isn't it? When the sun set, here sunset, we are talking about the time. So it will be an, yes, adverb clause. Next question. Here is the book that you want. So here we are talking about the book, and this is a special book we are talking. There is some speciality about the book. So of course, when we are talking about the speciality of something, it is an adjective clause. Now let's move on to the next question, and that is, pay attention to what your parents say. So here, what we are actually talking about? We are actually saying to pay attention to something. And what is that? To what your parents say. Here we are talking about something. And whenever we are talking about anything and naming words, then it is a noun clause. Now let's see the next question. Unless you work harder, you will fail. So now just think what kind of clause it can be. Unless you work harder, you will fail. Here we are talking about the condition of something, isn't it? That means if you will not work hard, you will fail. So here it is a condition. So it will be an adverb clause. And now let's see the next question. Your success depends on how you work. So here, success depends on something, on the way you work. That is a thing we are talking about. So it is a noun clause. So that's all for today. I hope you have understood the clause, whatever I have explained it to you. And yes, if you have liked the video, please don't forget to press the like button. One who has not subscribed till now, please do subscribe our channel. And thank you for watching the video.